Welcome to the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. It's time to get ignited. Let's go. Welcome to the Lotus Riché Ignite Show. It's time to get ignited. Let's go. All right, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I think it's going to do what it's going to do. I think people are hearing me now. So I'm happy, very, very happy that you're hearing me. And again, I want to welcome you back to the show. We got a little technical difficulty. And thank you for our viewers. You kindly, quickly connected with me and said, hey, Dr. Lowe, we can hear the music, but baby, we cannot hear you. Well, thank you so much for doing what you do. And tonight, I know if you're just coming through, you are going to be so delighted and so happy to hear from my two guests. I've got a councilwoman that is a trailblazer in what she's doing. And she is paired with an amazing business owner. She's a CEO that really inspires people to help do what they need to do for migrants, not just here in Washington, D.C., where I am, but all over the world. So with no further ado, go ahead and get your phone and share this with someone that needs to hear from you, because I tell people to come on in and get it when you fit in, because I've always got room around my table for you. And they do too. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Lotus Riché Ignite Show.
Councilwoman Wala Blegay, a skier, Country Council District 6, civil, women's, and workers' rights advocate. Candace Boykin, President, CEO of C&J Migrant Solutions.
I just love that beat. Hello, ladies. Hello. Woo! I have the councilwoman herself in the studio. And of course, Candace Boykin is in the house. Ladies, welcome. How you doing, councilwoman?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Well, you look absolutely beautiful. See, y'all, I got to see her backstage. Just stunning. And Candace, stunning. So it's great to see you. I'm so happy that you're here. We're going to have a great conversation tonight. Candace, I got to talk to you the other day, but I can never get enough of Candace Boykin. How are you doing tonight?
I am blessed. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, fantastic. So we're going to get right into it. So tonight we're going to talk about the immigrant experience. And as we come in, everybody, I want you guys to come in and we want to know where you're trimming or where you're streaming in from, because it's really important. We want to know also what country you're from, if you are born native here or if you migrated here from another place. So let's get right into it, shall we? So Candace, one of the big reasons that we're meeting today is because you and I had the pleasing pleasure to connect at another event that we were at. And it was also geared towards impacting and empowering people. And so today we're here to talk about an upcoming event that you are hosting, okay? And for some of you that don't know, she's having not only something called an Immigrant Experience, but it's a summit and it's a banquet. And dare I say, it's not the first one. So let's talk about how you got all that started.
So we started an Immigrant Experience due to our work in immigration. We realized that when it comes to immigration, it's just not dealing with your paperwork per se, right? It's just not getting your status. It's actually the person themselves, right? So that's why it's called an immigrant experience, because we're talking about the person themselves having the experience as a migrant living here in the United States or anywhere, actually. As long as you're not a native of that country, you're a migrant.
So many of us here in the United States, we're not very familiar with that process, because a lot of us that were born in the United States, we never even thought about what it means to be a migrant, or what it means when a family has to migrate from another place that might be hostile to come to this country seeking refuge. And so I want to thank you for even being the brainchild for this amazing event, but also for your company. And we're going to talk more about your company in a minute, but I want to kind of slide over to you, to our illustrious council member. Can you please tell our audience what inspired you to support and be a part of this upcoming summit and banquet?
Well, I'm a child of immigrants. My parents came here from Liberia and Nigeria, and I would know people should be aware of the immigrants coming to this country. A high number of African immigrants started coming here in the 70s and 80s, and this was during the time of independence for a lot of countries. My parents came here for opportunity, for education, but they intended, when they first came, I don't know that they intended to stay, but once they had me and I was born here, they really, got very involved in the community and said that this was home. So knowing the immigrant experience from my parents, when my dad wanted to go back to Liberia, it was in the middle of the Civil War. And during that time when I was little, actually, they had a huge number of Liberians coming to the United States because of the Civil War, and they were coming under temporary protective status. That's one of the status that you could come here, which means that you're coming from a war-torn country. And a lot of people came here in the 90s due to the war, and it was a high number. And I actually remember at that time, they say, take your kids out when you're young to your meetings, because we went to the DC Council, to Prince George's County Council, advocating so that Liberians on TPS could comfortably come here in the middle of war in their country. And fast forward, actually, when I was in college, right after college in 2007, a lot of those Liberians stayed. They had kids here like myself, and then their kids started growing up, and then they were considering removing that status. And this was during President Bush time. And we did the advocacy again. We started to advocate and say, look, Liberians here with this TPS status, let them keep that status here, because they're already a part of the society. They're already engaging. I mean, I have family members that were trying to get permanent status, but while they have TPS status, they were nurses. They were working, doing all of these things. We won that battle. And then we had the battle again in 2019. And in 2019, that's over 10 years, we were under Donald Trump's first term. And he was refusing to take that status, but it wasn't TPS anymore. It was called deferred status, DED. And DED means that is at the it is at the decision of the president, whether you keep your status or not. TPS has some requirements, but DED does not. And we went to Congress. Thank God for Congressman Hoyer, others. We went to Congress, and through the action of the Democratic Party, we were able to get them permanent status. During that time, I brought a nurse with me. And the reason why, that nurse, it was one lady that worked with autism. She was like a social worker, and the other one was a nurse. These were two people on DED status that literally were saving lives every day. So when we had people stand in it, and when we were actually at the hearing to hear about them continuing their status, we had people actually get up, stand up and say, build the wall and don't let these criminals in. They're not criminals. They were literally saving lives every day. So we wanted people to see sort of the face of the people that they were trying to deport, basically remove status. And I'm thank God that we were able to, that fight we won in 2019, because come now, if they did not have that pathway to citizenship, right now, the people that we fought for 2019, we got that. So 5 years from 2019, they should all be getting permanent status and be eligible for citizenship in the United States now. And it's a glorious thing, because they've already been here now 30, 40 years, and this is home. They just want to get status. So it is a process to get status, and people don't understand the different process, and we could go through, because I am a lawyer too. But what we found is that we have a vibrant immigrant community in Prince George's County, and that as a daughter of immigrants, I'm proud. 3 daughters of African immigrants on the council. We have, and then we have our Latino representatives at the state, Jocelyn Pena Melnick, and others at the state level fighting for us. So you see advocates that are daughters of immigrants, that are immigrants themselves, fighting for people here. This is home, and we want to make that clear.
I absolutely love that, and thank you for sharing. And I know you've been an advocate for many, many years, and this is not something that's new to you. Like so many people say, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. What inspired you to really get down in the trenches? As a military woman myself, I understand what it means to lead from the deck place, and that's what you do. I've seen you on television and news media, and you go out into the communities and you talk to people like they're people. You don't talk down to them, you talk with them, not at them. And so this had to come from somewhere. Where did this fire come from?
Well, really, again, it goes to your upbringing. Like I said, when you have parents that are fighting for people because they see the war-torn country that they came from, frankly, being in a place where my parents did not have the opportunity that I had here, you have to have, and and many people talk about what would be third world countries or developing countries, like they're all poor. No, everyone is not poor in those countries.
Exactly
But
right.
if you are not rich, you have very limited opportunities to move up. And that's where it is. I have cousins in Nigeria right now that are looking for a job and have been looking for a job their whole life, and they're my age. But because of the opportunities here, I'm able to work. I'm able to be a lawyer, those type of things. So you realize the American dream, we are the American dream. We're a part of it. And so that's why I've been so true to advocacy for people, making sure that the American dream is real for regular people. But when it comes, since we're talking about the immigrant experience, we have a robust immigrant community here, and they're very much a part of the fabric of our everyday. And demonizing them as some sort of criminals that are here to take jobs away or to disturb lives is not fair, because that's not every immigrant.
And let me say this too, because one thing that I think people miss when they vilify immigrants, they miss this right here. When people are out and they are contributing to their society, their community here, I want to share this with you.
Mhm.
Um, so why am I showing this? I want to show you this part. When you look at immigrants, these are people who are in our schools helping to enhance education. These are people who patronize our stores. These are people that not only work in the stores, but they patronize the stores so that people that look like them and people that don't look like them can have a livelihood. So it's very essential that we understand and you normalize the fact that this is normal. This is not something where they're aliens and people should be afraid of immigrants. And so I absolutely love that you share that. So I wanted to make sure I was able to show that. And I don't know if you were able to see it. Let me try to go into it just a little bit more, see if it'll come up for me.
Mhm. Oh, that's the campaign video.
Yep. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure we were able to see that, but it's trying not to come up. But I just wanted to share that just a little bit. It's a video, and I'm going to put the link down here so that you all can see her in action. Why do you need to see her in action? Because you normalize it. You tell people that, hey, people who are immigrants have helped to build this country. And that's a discussion that a lot of people don't want to have. But Candace, you have helped not only your community, but you've helped other communities have that discussion. And so when you and I spoke, I found out that your family also migrated here as well. So can you tell us exactly where you're from? I already know where she's from, y'all. But can you tell everybody where you're from and how that experience was for you migrating from, I almost said it, migrating from where you're from?
So I am from the island of Jamaica. I migrated here as a teenager. Literally, we would have continued being in high school at the age of 15 when I graduated high school at the age of 15. So immediately I migrated here, and my uncle was like, let's start school, let's start
Right.
college.
Mhm.
So of course it was for better education as well, why I stayed, and my family seen it fit for me to stay. So the experience for me was not as traumatic as many migrants face that I currently work with, but it was also traumatizing for the fact of when it comes to immigration themselves, it's a fair, right? So even talking about immigration, and what that encompass, it puts a fear on people, right? Because the process is long and daunting. And
Arduous.
if you don't understand the process, you're constantly in fear, right? So as a child, as a teenager, I was at that constant in fear, even though my uncle and my aunt made sure that I got what I needed to be able to register to school, to be able to work and different things. But the weight was excruciating. It was, coming back with letters, not knowing what they want, not knowing if you're going to be able to stay or you have to go. So that it was just my tidbit of experience versus my asylum seekers that I currently work with, what they go through, which is totally different than my experience. So this is why the summit is definitely called a migrant experience, because as migrants, we all face different experience. And if we don't know, then we, tend to criticize or chastise each other because we're not in the room like we are right now talking about the experience and why they decided to come or why they decided to migrate.
You're muted.
Much, because I'll be in the background going, yeah, say it, say it. So for our viewers, if you're learning something new here that you never learned before, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat, because that's really important. Because ladies, you are really enlightening us in ways that many of us are not familiar with. So I want to thank you for doing that. And there's no shame in that, because this is something that the history books don't talk about. They're not teaching this in school. They're not teaching this in colleges. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes when you work at jobs, they're not having these types of discussions so that people feel welcome and not feel slighted. So, Councilwoman, I have a question for you, because I know that you have worked and you've gotten so many different accolades. You most recently, I think about a month ago, you did a virtual federal workers forum and you talked about that. What I want to know is, how has it been for you being a councilwoman from another country, so to speak? Mm-hmm. What challenges have you faced that almost made you say, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this?
Yeah, well, what I would say is that one reason why we want to have the migrant experience discussion is that the national discussion about immigration has brought so much division, even within our community. Now, when I was going to African Caribbean communities, I actually told them the fact that when people talk about immigrants, they literally see a Latino in their head is a
Right.
problem, because we have not only have we demonized, we've given one group that name when they're so when an immigrant is different, are different people. We have a president that's married to an immigrant. He has an advisory council that are full of immigrants. But yet and still, when people are looking at the immigrants, they're not looking at them. They're looking at someone that has Latinx or Latino. So I do think that one of the things I want to do, one of the things that has been frustrating is seeing that there is a lot of resentment towards immigrants because of this national discussion. Meaning, having an African name. I was telling people when I was running, people would say, you should change your name because people are not going to vote for you with that African name. Well, why wouldn't they? Right? Because at the end of the day, I was born here. I care about the outcome of the community, but
Exactly.
even more so, even if Candace immigrated from here, she's here, but even more so, her son is here. Right? So why would she want anything here to fail when she has a son that she has to care for, and he's gonna call this place home? Much like my parents, they had
Yep.
me. Why, even my dad at the end said maybe he wanted to go back to Liberia. He understood that this was home for me. So the idea is that immigrants are part of the community, and we do need to change that narrative. That has been the frustration, even dealing with colorism issues. This has been a hard discussion, but it's something that I do share often. When I was running, it was all women, all 5 women running, and there were a lot of comments made about me being darker skinned or, that type of thing. Almost getting into that issue of colorism and certain colors, and people want to be with the lighter skin. That is unfortunate, but it's crazy because it was something real. And I do remember women saying to me, "Well, you can't have a bad day because what your, how you look, you got to look good all the time." Why should that be for
Exactly.
anyone? And it actually is even rougher for women because when you're a woman running in politics, there's so much frustration on, so much focus on your hair, your makeup, whether your hair looks good, how you dress, but so it takes away from the distraction, and our male counterparts simply don't have to deal with that at all. So I
Exactly.
would say that those are the things that have been frustrating. I will say hearing any anti-immigrant or just immigrant like even sometimes it was like somebody was like, "Oh, you wear a lot of African clothes." Well, so what? At the end of the day, it is still doesn't make me any different from everyone else. In fact, just celebrating the culture that we have, we should celebrate all types of cultures. I mean, at the end of the day, we have folks from the European background that's been celebrating the culture that they have in this country for many years. We're eating food like spaghetti and and burgers all come from all different countries.
Exactly.
And now we've just embraced that as American fare, but that was not American fare. Those things came from Germany and Italy. But we've embraced it. So I do think that we need to be mindful as we look at the immigrant population here. And as we're focusing on that we realize that they are part of the community. They care just like everyone else's care. Nobody's trying to take anybody's job. They want this place to be better because it will be better for themselves and their next generation.
And here are some facts. There are more than enough jobs to go around.
Hmm.
Nobody's going to take your job. And if you want to get biblical about it, what is for you is for you.
Hmm.
And I say that because we have a lot of people that we say that are God fearing and they're Christians and stuff like that. Well, let's use that. Let's use that spiritual being having a human experience, and let's leverage that and bridge the gaps and look at one another like the spiritual beings that we are, instead of talking negatively towards each other or thinking that one person is better than the other. I think it's an opportunity to really leverage that. And what's happened is that C&J, they are saying, listen, we are the solution. And so I want to go right back over to you because I love how when I went to look at what you were about, to look at your page, because when you meet people, they look you up. They be like, okay, who am I talking to? Who am I dealing with? If you notice her page, beautiful. Y'all go ahead and put a 10 in the chat. Beautiful lady. But very simple language, very direct language, but language that lets everyone know who she is. And then what I like that you did, you came here and you showed yourself, you showed them, and you said moving to a new country can be a stressful endeavor. Allow a professional to take care of the documentation process on your behalf so that you can fully enjoy your start. I'm not sure why you said that, but I do know this. When you're migrating from anywhere, I lived in Japan for a number of years, okay? And I just returned back from London. I had the honor of speaking at Oxford University on my book tour. And even being an American citizen, when you come into customs, you might as well not be a citizen because they are going to almost frisk you, so to speak. So for you to say, listen, let me help you along the way because you already know what it's like. I thought that was so profound. And I just wanted to know from you what inspired you to take the reins of that, because that is a heavy lift for people. It's emotional. It's spiritually scary. It's your children are scared, your elderly are scared. But you are saying, let me help you. Let me take that lift off your shoulders. So what made you say, hey, I'll take it on?
Um, what made me take it on is a few things. As a migrant myself, as Ms. Blegay has said, and I think this is one of the things that I love about her, because when I met her and started to talk to her and work with her, she see where I wanted to go, and she have definitely been my backbone as a councilwoman. So I mean, I love it, and I applaud her for her work. Is, as she said, when you speak about immigration, you don't see anyone like us on the floor. You don't see any Africans, you don't see any Caribbean, African migrants, African descendant on the floor when you're talking about immigration. When I migrated here and was doing my paperwork and things, of course, I had no money as a teenager. And my mom was working for this lady, and her cousin was an immigration attorney in Atlanta. And she took me on. She was like, you know what? Pay me as you go. And, you know, at that age, I'm looking at her like, I don't know what you want me to do. And she's like, you need to come to my office. It was like 3 days a week. And I had to come to her office. I had to sit down and pretty much do my own paperwork. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Doing my own paperwork. I assisted her with others, you know, paperwork. And that's pretty much how she started to groom me. And I was like, wow, we actually do have people out here that actually care, right? And not the fact that she was also a Black migrant herself, but it was the care that really struck me, because I have worked with attorneys even to this day, and that level of care and understanding I still have never seen as when she took me under her wings. Being, you know, growing up in Harford County, my family had no idea of who to turn to as far as getting documents done. It was Catholic charities we hear, or one or two we might hear about CASA. And then when we looked, my family's not going to go there because they speak Spanish. You know, are they going to really understand my experience, right? Are they really going to understand what I am dealing with in order to help me? And it struck a nerve to say, we don't have a seat at the table. No one that is talking about immigration look like us. So every policy that is being enacted, every policy that's being written is coming from a Hispanic standpoint, not a African descendant or African standpoint. It's not our voice that's out here. And one of the things I've always said is the division that immigration have caused. When, if you really go back in history, we are all migrants, right? None of us, you know, whether you were born here, if you are Black, you're actually a migrant, you're a descendant, you're African migrant, right? But the division that comes with immigration is actually what Councilwoman and we're going to plan on working on, is how do we bridge that gap? Because in a time as this, we really need to sit down and start having these conversations about why you don't like me and for what. How can we, even if you don't like me, how can we still work together? Because there has to be a meeting of the mind in order for us to accomplish what we need, in order for us as people to grow, not African American, but as people, as Black people. In order for us to grow, we have to come together, meet in the middle on something, and move forward with that. And therefore, I love when I spoke with you, Dr. Riché, when we came up with the topic of movement of one, and that is definitely what we are going to be pursuing for the entire year, is how we move as one people.
You know, I love that. And, you know, I just want to say this, a movement of one. A movement of one is where we stand in solidarity. What I love that you said, though, is how do we bridge the gap? How do we bridge that gap? Because I have people from all over the world. Of course, you know that I work with organizations in Nigeria and Ghana and things like that. And I'm co-founder of a few organizations. But I remember one of my friends, Dr. Florence from Burundi's Africa. She said, Dr. Lotus, I came to the United States because she comes and she meets with people from the World Bank and so forth and so on. And she said, Dr. Lotus, I need to know why sometimes people in the United States treat us badly when we come from Africa. So, you see what I'm doing, right? I had to gloss my lips for this conversation. Because I said to her, I said, Dr. Florence, one of the reasons why you encounter these types of things is because oftentimes when our brothers and sisters come from Africa to the United States, we are not treated kindly. Many of our brothers and sisters come from Africa and they have stores, but when an American African comes into the store, they're watching us, they're talking to us in an inferior way. And you could hear from time to time people say, well, you in America have no culture. You have no language. And unfortunately, in many aspects, we don't have our language because our language was stripped away from us. If you read the book by Bell Hooks, Sisters of the Yam, she talks about that. And a lot of these things were taken away from us during the process of slavery that often still exists afresh today. And so I think it goes back to what you said. We have to stop looking at I'm better than you or you're better than me and bring it to the we concept. Because no matter what it is, we all are melanated people. Mm-hmm. Now, some of us are lighter than others. You know, back many years ago, they used to do the brown bag test. If you were darker than a brown bag, oh, we're not going to hire you, or you can't belong to this, organization. And so we've got to enhance the way we think. Someone who I look to, he wrote this amazing book. And this book is called Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And he said, any person can aspire to riches. He didn't say a woman. He didn't say a man. He didn't say a Latino. He didn't say a Caucasian. He didn't say African. He said any person. Any person. And in the book, Harnessing Your Thoughts, Take the Reins, Control Your Life and Win by Dr. Lotus Riché. Yes, I said that, selfless plug. That's my book. I talk about being able to harness our thoughts so that we can really win. And with this summit and this banquet, you are causing us to harness our thoughts. You're causing us to really go deep inside and look for the answers. And the way you're doing this by bringing so many of us together, before we leave out of that room, there are going to be some answers. And I absolutely love that. So, folks, we want to take a quick break. I want to share something with you. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. And then we're going to take some questions from our audience because we have a lot of questions, because we're not going to wrap up this broadcast without taking your questions, okay? So for those of you that haven't put a question in there yet, if you have a question of our amazing councilwoman and, of course, the C&J CEO, right? You need to put your question in there so we can make sure we answer it. So let's go ahead and share this right quick. Here it goes.
Foundation. We're here to welcome you to our second annual summit at the Crown Plaza here in Maryland on May 3rd. This is our second annual anniversary. Come on, celebrate with us. We'll have a panel discussion from 2 to 5 where we have our attorneys, community leaders discussing the current issue happening right now in the United States when it comes to immigration, know your rights, different things that we need to know as our migrant community. Afterwards, at 7 o'clock, we will start our banquet, our dinner, jazz music, dance, fun, celebrating culture. Come on out and join us. You can find tickets on our website, cjmigrantsfoundation.com. That is cjmigrantsfoundation.com, or visit us on any social media platform at CJ Migrants. May 3rd, 2025, Crown Plaza, an Immigrant Experience second anniversary. Come on out and join us. We'll see you there.
Your family, you want to take your friends, we want to see you there. Make sure you come out, go to CJ Migrants, and we give credit to them for this amazing commercial. We absolutely love it. You look smashing there, and thank you for sharing the information. And so we want you to go right over to CJ Migrants. Go there and share in the great time that we're going to have. Okay, we're going to also have some illustrious speakers that are there. So we want to talk a little bit about some of the speakers and the leadership team. So talk to us about that.
So some of the speakers that we have Isaac, who is our board chair. We have Coach Fofo, I won't pronounce his name, but Coach Fofo, who also have a organization that works with children, enhancing them through soccer. We have Mr. Eric, who is a financial advisor, that will give some financial tips that we all need to know, especially in this time. We have our community school partner. We also work with community schools. So we have one of the partners that will be joining us talking about the migrant situations, or how they are actually helping migrants within the school, and what she also hears from the schools and from parents, how they help. We have Dr. Victoria, who is there. She's a specialist in behavioral health. So she will also be talking about this current time, how this immigration experience, what is happening, and how that is having an effect on our mental health. And then we have one of our leaders on the advocacy side, Mr. Julio, who is also an attorney that will also, and political leader that will also be talking about certain policies that are within the government right now that is affecting us. And he's an international person. So internationally, he will be speaking about also the climate changes that is taking place, and also lands that have been stolen from our Black people, or Africans, or African descendant, and going over things like that. So, and we also have immigration attorneys there. We'll have Miss Yolanda there, and then we will have Miss Fatmata Barry also wrapping up our session. Our speaker, of course, Dr. Brown from the governor's office, will be wrapping this up for us with a closing remark, a speech per se, that wraps up the summit. And then we go into our dinner, which you will hear from no other than yourself, and Ms. Wala Blegay will be speaking as well.
Dr. Wala Blegay, and I'm saying Dr. Councilwoman, she is on point, and I can't wait to hear from all of the rest of the speakers, everybody that's going to be on par with that. This is something that you definitely do not want to miss. We want you to go ahead and get your tickets. And if you're not sure where to go to get your tickets, we're going to make it super easy for you, because we're going to put it in the chat so that you have it. You can go there and get your ticket. And then we're also going to ask, if you're not sure, if for some reason you can't get your ticket, don't hesitate. Connect with us and tell us, hey, I can't get my ticket or whatever. But I want you to take a moment and go right here, go to the foundation. It's really simple. Here's the homepage. You can donate. And we didn't even talk about donations. And I know we can't get everything done in one night. So we will be coming back before the event happens and talking more about the event. So, but you can donate. You can call the number right there, that 443-494-9231, and make sure you get your ticket today. Also, If you want to be a partner, there are partnerships. You can be a partner. And if you want to become a member, and of course, you're going to keep seeing that summit pop on up, and you can click on that and get your ticket. And if you want to become a member, you can become a member right there as well. And of course, these are some of the services that the organization offers. So we've got a lot for you. So we're not sleeping. So if you're in need of something, you're at the right place at the right time. And so with no further ado, we're going to take some quick comments as we begin to wrap our segment up. I know you guys don't want us to go, but we've got to take some comments before we go. So Angie said, yes, everyone's family journey started as a migrant. That's the 100% truth. And I want to thank, we've got so many people. We've got people on from Cameroon. We've got people on from Zambia. We've got people in from Maryland. We've got people in from DC, and of course Liberia. We have people in who a migrant from Japan. So we just want to thank all of you from all around the world for being here today. And we want to take at least another comment. Here we go. We need more people to see people as people, no matter where they come from. So we definitely thank you for that comment. And that is so true. So as we come to a close for this segment of the Lotus Riche Ignite Show, I just want to thank you both for being here. I thank you for your immense knowledge that you've shared and for the hard work that you all are putting forth to make sure our people, and now when I say our people, I'm talking about the spiritual beings having a human experience that are melanated people. Okay? You are going tooth and nail, fighting the great fight so that we can have the lives that we richly deserve. And I want to thank you, Councilwoman Wala Blegay. I hope I said it right. I've been practicing that. I practiced last night too. And I speak a few languages, so you know,
that's awesome.
Right. So, Councilwoman, I want to thank you. And I want to leave this broadcast with allowing the two of you to leave with your final words of wisdom.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. It was a great discussion, and I would say I think you said it all. Let's see people for who they are. Let's know that the migrant experience is an experience that is very diverse. No one person has experienced the same thing, but we all come here with the intention of making this place better. And part of that is accepting each other's background and knowing that we can work together to make this a better place. And remember, especially for Black migrants, understand for the African American community, we are one. When people look at us, they don't see this Liberian, Nigerian, Cameroonian, Jamaican, Grenadian. They don't see that. They see Black people. So we should stand hand in hand and work together. And actually, one of the things we've been trying to teach people, African Americans should be even looking to do business, to partner in Africa. You're already doing it. So we are one people, and we should be working not only locally but globally.
Yep, that's the truth. Say it. She said it. I don't have to say it. She said it. Okay. I had to leave her amazing self up there for a quick minute. Come on, y'all, put your hands together because you said that. That's why you got that take notes. You got to take that notes. Take that notes. So thank you, Councilwoman. We so richly appreciate you. And for Georges County, keep supporting her, keep lifting her up, keep rising her, and keep standing not behind her, but stand beside her to help her get the things done that you know need to be done. So thank you, Councilwoman. And of course, we would not be here today if it was not for you, Candace, making the way happen with the summit and the banquet and immigrant experience that no one wants to miss. So would you please share your final words of wisdom for this broadcast?
Yes, I think Councilwoman summed it up, pretty much took my speech. It's a movement of one. We're one people. As Marcus Garvey has called us, I was at the UN last weekend, which reminded me about unity. And that is where we as people need to be. We need to be unified. And I think this is the time, this is the season for us to do that so that we can progress and move forward.
Awesome. Fantastic. So we have one question. What's one action step attendees of the summit can take to amplify migrant voices?
One action is unity.
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 All right, unity. So with that said, we want to say to you, be sure to meet us on May the 3rd at our amazing summit. This summit and banquet is one for the record books that you don't want to miss. And so make sure you stay connected with both of our amazing guests. And one thing for sure and two for certain that you must do is stay connected with the real you that you are. So until we meet again, be blessed, don't stress, don't take no mess, and always do your best as you ignite and take flight in the best area of your life. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Welcome to the Lotus Riche Ignite Show.
Councilwoman Wala Blegay, Eskier, Country Council District 6, Civil, Women's and Workers' Rights Advocate. Candace Boykin, President, CEO of C&J Migrant Solutions.
All right, it was a great, amazing show this evening with Miss Candace Boykin, who is all the way here from Jamaica, and of course from Liberia. The amazing councilwoman herself was in the house. Miss Blegay came and they set the spot on fire. So if you are looking to find a way to be a part of this, definitely contact me, DM me, and let us know that you want to be a part of it, because it will all take us to come together to help this movement of one to be just what it needs to be. And it can't be what it needs to be without you. So we look forward to seeing you, and we will be bringing them back. So if you have anything that you have not asked tonight, just wait to see us in a couple of weeks. We'll have them back. The event is going to be May 3rd. Like I said, it's May 3rd at the Crown Plaza. I have my notes here. It's at the Crown Plaza, Ivy Greenbelt, which is 6400 Ivy Lane, Greenbelt, Maryland. And you can get your early bird tickets. The tickets for the summit is only $80, and the dinner and the summit is $110. Very, very cost effective. And you can go here, and we'll be sharing this out. We'll be sharing this out so that you can scan and go ahead and get your tickets. So thank you so much, Candace Boykin. You see her name screaming down below. We just want to thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And we want to say, from the Lotus Riche Ignites team, we want to say, Candace, keep up the great work, because without you, so many words, so many things, so many directions, so many endeavors would be lost. And again, thank you to the Lotus Riche Ignites team. I absolutely love you. Until we meet again, be blessed, don't stress, don't take no mess, and do your best. Good night.
Thank you for watching the show, and follow us on YouTube. Ring that bell so you don't miss a thing.
See you on the next episode of the Lotus Riche Ignite Show, where we're helping you to ignite and take flight in every area of your life.
And if you want to be a guest on the show, please connect with us at Lotus at lotusricheignitesyou.com. Ignite your mind and ignite your life.